And I always wanted to do my master's degree, even when I was overseas 20 years ago. So I thought this is an opportunity to do it in St. Joe, Missouri. So I joined the Northwest at Maryville. And immediately I found out I really don't have the time. Working full time and taking care of a family just does not leave you enough time to go to school. I did not like the idea I have to drive 2 hours round trip and park my car there and get a parking ticket on campus and then attend the classroom 3 times a week. And I was not fond also of sitting next to smart 25-year-old kids. Okay? So I thought there must be an easier way to do this. Started researching online courses. You know, those days, very few schools offered online courses, and even fewer schools offered complete programs. So whatever information I gathered, I put on my website and start advertising it. And people will ask questions and I will reply. And in a very short time, I start getting 200 inquiries a day asking the same question. Where do I go to get my online schooling? Until one friend, and it could be Tim, I don't remember which one, he said, what are you doing? You're giving all this information free? I said, yeah. He said, no, you have to make money. I said, how? He said, put it in a book. I never wrote a book or even an article in my life, so he said, you can do it. So I started contacting publishers to publish a book for online education, and I get the same common answer. Have you published before? No. Okay, we think your book has no market. Now, I know it had a market because there were 200 inquiries a day asking the same question. So at the end of the day, I decided to publish it myself. Put it on the website and start getting orders. And it was very exciting. Every morning, you get like $200 of orders. I ship the book and send it to the people who ask for it and ask them question, you know, is this information helpful? And they all reply, most of them reply, yes, it's great information. Shortly after that, a publisher, a well-known publisher called me and he said, hey, we struck gold. This is a great topic. Can you write another book? I said, yeah, but this time you have to treat me right. I want advance payment. He said, okay. So we created the second book, which is how to get a college degree via the internet. At the end of the year, I asked my publisher, how did we do? She said, for a book which has no sexual or criminal contact, you did great. 20,000 copies. So I realized immediately that there is a market. I convinced my CEO at the technical college I was working with to start an online department. And the first year, a few hundred students signed up. But they were charging each student $60,000 for a bachelor degree, $15,000 to $17,000 a year, and they were charging them also lab fees and computer fees. Although the students are at home using their home for a lab, I said, you know, something wrong here. We can do better. So I talked to some of my friends who are doctors, engineers, professionals, business people, and we said, you know, it's time we start our online school. They jumped on the idea, and we started our school. Now, you know, those days, maybe 5 to 10% of people will go online. So we had a hard time in the beginning. But now, it's like over 40% are going online. The mainstream is becoming online. Okay? So that's why our enrollment increased like 500%. We are up to 1,300 students now, which I'm myself surprised. Okay? So we got approved for our associate degree, bachelor degree, and then we wanted to do the MBA program. Initially, I wanted to do it for myself, but it's too late now. I'm already finishing mine at an online school, another online school. So I asked my team to come up with a great MBA program to compare and copy while they are legal, the 15 best schools in the country. After 2 years, they came up with an MBA program, and then we added to it our experience in technology innovation, and we added one more thing which is needed, is the concentration. So professionals can use it in their career path, such as project management, financial management, banking, information technology, human resources, and a new one called marketing and social media. So we beefed up our MBA. It's not a general degree anymore. It's a degree with emphasis on your line of work. And then came up the idea of pricing. And maybe, Ruth, you can show us the pricing list, okay? They came back with $50,000. That's the average price for MBA. Now, some schools are more. We're not going to talk about it. But tier 1 schools, they charge $50,000 in MBA. Now, our mission is to make this education accessible and affordable. And $50,000 I cannot afford myself, so I could not ask others to pay $50,000 for their graduate program. We said we're going to take it 50% down. Then let's take it 75% down. Let's offer it at $12,500. And they said, we cannot make it. We will not make it. We will lose money. And I disagreed. Because we don't have the infrastructure traditional schools have. We don't have 20 buildings, which requires maintenance. We don't have roads. We don't have theaters. We don't even have a football team. So we can afford this, okay? And finally they agreed, and we offered the program at $12,500. And furthermore, for the employers, I realized many people are not aware of the tax deduction the employer gets. Each employer gets $5,250 a tax deduction for every employee goes to higher education. And I mean, I was surprised myself to find out that even Uncle Sam can be friendly sometimes, you know? So we are matching that with another 25%, which means some institutions give you 4,000, some institutions go as high as 8,000 a year, beyond the quota. If we assume your employer gives you 5,000, we're going to add to that 1,250, that's 6,250. That will cover most of your annual cost for your MBA. And the remaining difference, if you have to pay anything out of your pocket, then you use Uncle Sam again for lifelong learning and Hope tax credit, which is up to $3,500 of actual credit coming to you if you spend money on education. So the bottom line, you could go to school with very little money or no money at all. So the degree which can cost 50 to 100,000 with other schools, by using few techniques, you actually can get it for free. Now some say you cannot compare your MBA with MIT or Harvard. I say I can, because the internet made the playground very level for all of us. We have access to the same resources. We have access to the same publishers, the same material. In our MBA, actually, we use case studies from Harvard. We had to buy them, of course, okay? So I can compare with those schools, and the fact that the school is 100 years old is not an advantage anymore. The fact the school is huge, with 25,000, it's also a disadvantage, because it's all technology. They are too big to move and accept change and deliver new subjects. While a small school like ours is only 11 years old, we can apply the new technology, we welcome change, and we can apply it immediately to careers in the industry. So, to make the story short, I'm almost done with it, don't rush me. Okay. So today, it's really exploring, just information for your knowledge. And I finished my speech.
Online learning for several years. You know, I worked on my doctorate, and online learning is growing very rapidly. It's 30% in K-12, and like Sam said, 40% at the college level. We know this, and it's not going away anytime soon. We do something kind of unique at the school. I think really unique, actually, with the way we present the sessions and the courses and the instructors. I want to point you to, and I think it's on your handout, it's on your table, but for the people later, the ACOT.edu/MBA would take you to all the information that we're talking about today in more detail. As already been mentioned by the professionals in this area, the MBA is very much sought after as a degree. And it might have been mentioned earlier too, the online format is very interactive with our virtual classroom format. The sessions are all recorded so they can be played back later to be viewed, which is an advantage. Online resources include the videos, the case studies, which make it very up-to-date and available. The concentrations already been mentioned, the global economy concentration, financial management, project management, and operations are all good areas that are current, that have been researched. Just an idea of some of the courses, so you get an idea of online communications, managerial productivity tools, leadership and organizational behavior is a common component in those concentrations. Just a few others, survey of economics, and this particular one, and the global concentration, business management, and one I particularly like is very practical. It's a project at the end, business plan seminar on this particular one, which makes it very practical in the world of work. And just some highlights that I noted, just the flexibility with this type of program with working adults, and Sam alluded to a couple times, being very practical, and again, the project orientation. But I thought is very valuable. It's going to be very valuable to our students. That's really all the comments I have. Lou, I know you're going to talk some about the cost.
Okay, I'm going to go through my list here. I'm going to cover first the platform. Make this easier on myself. I'm going to cover the platform, and then how to access the interactive classroom and how convenient it is. I'm going to cover the benefits of an MBA and the cost. And then we're going to take some questions from the audience, and I'm going to cover the top 5 or 6 most frequently asked questions that we have when it comes to online education. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, we have designed our platform, basically education anywhere, anytime on any device. Everything now is considered a smart device, so if it can access the internet, and if you can watch a YouTube video on it, it's likely that you can participate in some of your online learning using that same device. The primary one is a laptop or PC. Secondary is an iPad, and then the Google Nexus follows behind that. There's some new brands, I know, like Asus, Toshiba, they're all making their own tablets now, HP, IBM, they're all made the same way. And then of course most smartphones as well. The key component about our school that makes us so attractive is the live interaction. And most online schools are correspondence. You read, you type, you respond, and that's the end of it. Where we differ is you're able to ask a question if you're meeting on a Saturday morning, for example, and the instructor is saying something that will prompt a question. You can actually raise your hand by a click of a button and ask your question, chat, or audio video with the instructor. If you're unable to make these lectures on a regular basis, they're all recorded. They can be played back at your convenience 24/7. Outside of the lectures, there are online learning tools, presentations, interactive learning modules, videos, etc. And then of course there's chat. As a school we offer 24/7 chat assistance. You know, if you have trouble opening something or locating a particular file, but you can also chat with the instructor as well. And then of course I mentioned detailed how-to videos also assist you with the program. Some of the benefits of an MBA obviously is to set yourself apart from the competition in the job market. Obviously with the recent changes in the market, there's people with bachelor's and master's degrees being laid off right now. Having an MBA, and especially when it's recent, is going to give you an advantage. And statistically speaking, and this is on the website for the Bureau of Labor Statistics, so our total cost, as mentioned earlier, is just around $12,500. We talked about the average in the country being at $50,000, and we're doing the 25% scholarship if your company is participating in the tuition reimbursement program. And we did this to make it available and accessible. We really didn't want to price this outside of somebody who's working, and we didn't want to promote taking student loans. The idea here is to graduate debt-free. Our mission statement: dedicated to deliver high-quality, innovative, affordable, and accessible educational opportunities and services that focus on skills and career building for students to become valuable, productive members of society. So as a core, we stick to specific skill sets. We try to avoid courses in theory for the sake of theory. And we try to stick to specific skill sets that you're going to learn and actually be able to apply the very next day in your workplace. A lot of questions usually about college in general. How do you become a college? How do we know you're a good college? The good news is that the Missouri Department of Higher Education accredits all colleges equally in this state. So to even be called a college, you have to meet the same standards as other colleges in the states. CHEA, which is a coordinating board for, I think it's educational, I can't remember, Council for Higher Education, it's changed twice now, but CHEA is basically in charge of all the accrediting bodies below it. So this would be like the president of a company, and the Missouri department would be the regional manager, and below that you have your accreditors. So all colleges in the country have to be approved by CHEA to even be called a college in the first place. And our particular accreditor has been in distance learning for many, many years, over 80 years now. So they are the authority on distance education. So as far as quality and reputation go, we are among the top online schools in the country and equally recognized as other schools that surround us, both in this state and outside of the state. So any questions so far? What I've said? Okay. A couple of questions. Why are we so much cheaper? There's an interesting law that says if you charge a specific rate to an on-campus student, you cannot charge an online student less, because it would not be fair to somebody. This is why your traditional on-campus schools that decide to go online can't charge less, and you're paying for things that you'll never use, as Sam mentioned earlier. You're still going to get that lab fee and that library fee, parking lot maintenance, etc., although you're not actually taking advantage of it.
And the tickets.
And the tickets. The parking tickets. So our concept was to take the actual cost of education, subtract all the physical costs of maintaining the buildings, and pass that savings to the students. And that's why you end up with around a $12,500 mark, which is what's actually going towards your education and not the maintenance of things that you'll never take part of. Is online education's values on campus? As we mentioned earlier, most on-campus schools are converting to online for a few reasons. One, the budget cuts. They can't maintain these expensive buildings anymore. And two, our schedules. If you're trying to maintain a full-time job, the last thing you want to do is leave in the middle of the day to go attend class from 10 to 3 p.m. and then expect to still have a job when you come back. So they have to go online, or traditional schools are going to fail. And that's why you see more of the traditional schools now starting to add that online component. Most of it's correspondence still, but as you can see, they're slow to catch up. The traditional brick and mortar schools really can't compete in this space. The online schools that you probably see and hear about on the TV commercials are the more progressive schools, and unfortunately are charging 2 or 3 times as much for that availability. So we really try to offer complete access at a fraction of the cost, so you can take advantage of the best of both worlds. Again, as I mentioned, it's recorded. You need to attend as many as possible to really get your money's worth. If you just watch recordings and read, then you're not really helping yourself much. We hire specific industry experts to teach these classes that work in the field they're teaching during the day. We don't hire career instructors, and we hire them from across the country, so you're not stuck with a very localized skill set of somebody who just teaches 6 days a week or 5 days a week. You're actually getting information from people that exercise what they're teaching you every day. Payment plans, of course, our goal again is debt-free education. So if you can come up with a plan that's reasonable, we will help you achieve your goal. You know, we don't want you to take loans, we don't want you to get in debt, we want you to achieve this degree, and you know, once you get it, spend the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years using it and letting it benefit you instead of paying that back for the next 15 or 20 years, much like you would a mortgage. Scholarships are available. There's a lot of different opportunities based on your grades, based on your willingness to help incoming students as well. We have a mentorship ambassador program. So again, if you have the goal of completing this, you can talk to us and we will help you find a way to get it done. This is a visual representation of all the different places students have accessed our server over the years, which shows you that if you travel, if you move, it really doesn't matter. As you can see, we've had either somebody live or access our server from Alaska all the way down to South Africa. So it doesn't matter where you are. Don't ever think you're too busy. Again, most of our students over the years have been military, and they are really too busy for school, and they're still able to accomplish that, which is why you'll see a lot of these little weird spaces out here, typically military installations where someone's pulling content at 3 in the morning. So if they can do it, I know that you can too. So don't ever think that you don't have enough time for school, because I can tell you a couple stories of some people that really don't. But the way our platform works, it's convenient enough for you to be able to make time. And it's an 18-month program, roughly, for the master's. Of course, if you don't have the bachelor's yet, we have the undergrad portions available, equally as convenient, and to help you get to that goal. And I believe that is the end of my presentation. So any questions? So the top 3 that we have now are based on our initial research, which is general MBA in global economy, the financial concentration, and project and operations management.
Technology.
And then technology is the very next one, information technology, information systems. And then there's a few more that we're researching and doing some back-end work on right now.
And I want to add, you don't have to decide on the concentration now. It's usually the second year.
There are. We have a fantastic alumni discount. So if you started college elsewhere, did not complete for whatever reason, transfer your credits in, then when you graduate with your undergrad from us, you get all the alumni benefits and discounts and scholarships that are afforded to individuals.